All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of 40 Years, 40 Moments. I have the founding father of Coker University, Coker College men's soccer, Tim Griggs. Coach, how are you this evening?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Coach Griggs, the first ever head coach in the history of Coker men's soccer, a Coker Hall of Fame member, started the program back in 1980. Coach, we'll get right into it. What initially brought you to Coker and Coker men's soccer?
That's a good question. I was up at St. Andrews for 4 years, and Malcolm Doubles was the provost there, actually the dean of students. Then he came to Coker as the provost, and he kind of followed my career while I was in graduate school. I was assistant coach at Appalachian State University, and when he and as soon as I graduated, he called me up and said, "Hey, Jim, we're in a men's soccer program. Are you ready?" So that's how it happened, just like that. I was ready.
Plain and simple, easy enough. So,
Easy enough.
in all your
Parts fit
years,
together.
and I'm sorry.
I say all the parts fit together.
Sure enough. So, kind of going along with, and I know this list is probably a mile long, but is there any one memory from your years at the helm of Coker men's soccer that sticks out in your mind?
Oh yeah, the first year, it was great. We had all the fine young players. Most of them were freshmen, standouts from their high schools, and because they all wanted to start, and that was a good place to start with a team with nobody on it. And then we had a few players from other sports. We had a couple guys that were baseball players, a couple guys basketball players, and so all of us kind of gelled together. And by mid-season, we were at homecoming. We basically initiated the homecoming because it was not a homecoming, and we played that game, and we won the game 4-3. At the end of the game, that my player, who was a walk-on baseball player, standout, scored the winning goal from the left back position just to win the game 4-3. So that stands out in my mind every day I think about it. It's a great how you can put good athletes together and make them work.
Absolutely, it sounds like it, and you've kind of touched on the next two pieces that I wanted to bring about. But you talked about the homecoming game of the first year, and if there's a different answer to this question, that's perfectly fine. What in your mind, what's the most memorable game that you coached while at Coker?
Oh well, there are a lot of good games, men's soccer, women's soccer. All those games are some fantastic times. I'm sure that some of my guys will tell you that it we beat Lander University like 2-0 when they were nationally rated on our home field. This was later, I guess it was in the 80s, late 80s, and we upset them. So that was a fantastic game that our team played. That was just one of those games, but that's one that just popped out of my head at that particular time. Sheldon Brathwaite was All American. I think he scored a second goal maybe, and then we had planned if we get one ahead that we're going to move him to the back to play sweeper because he was the fastest thing on legs. Nobody could get by him. So, and that's exactly what we did. And he went to the back. And we won the game 2-0.
Smart strategy there, playing with a lead. But so kind of touching on the next piece of it, is there to this day from those first couple of years, is there one goal that sticks out in your mind that you can see plain as day?
Well, there's so many of them. So many different goals. Well, believe it or not, one of the most fantastic goals that we had was not on the outdoor field. It was on the indoor in the Timberlake Lawton Gymnasium, where we hosted these indoor soccer tournaments. and we had nationally rated teams there. We had all kind of, we'd have 27 teams come to play the weekend, and there's not one goal. There's multitudes of goals. Coker just scoring goal. We could match up with about any team around before 4 players and a goalkeeper on the field. And I just remember our first time we won the tournament, I guess it was in the early 80s. That's the one thing that just sticks out there when you ask me that question. I don't know who scored it. I just know we pulled it out 5-4, something like that, against Winthrop University. So this is in time when all the teams in South Carolina, except for South Carolina and Clemson, all played in the same league.
Yeah.
College of Charlotte, Winthrop, everyone.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, all those guys will remember those goals. They were just fast and furious, just like the movie, and it was just so much fun. Anybody ever came to watch that, it was like a combination of basketball and soccer together. It's so fast. It was so fun to watch. And like I say, we can match up with most teams inside the gymnasium.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then kind of the last question I have for you this evening, if you could give one more pregame speech to any of the teams you coached at Coker, what would that pregame speech sound like?
That's kind of difficult. Usually, that pregame speech goes along with the situation that you're in. So we basically, depending on who we're playing, what was ongoing, what was at stake. So we basically, I would measure what was going on. Sometimes I would do individual talks to individual people. Case in point, we had some outstanding star players, some All-Americans, and every once in a while I would say to them, off to the side, I would say to one of the All-Americans, I would say, we can make this game a blowout because we were pretty good at the time, or we can stretch it out and maybe you can win the game right here in the last minute. And they looked at me and said, "What does that mean, Coach?" I said, "When we get on the field, just take it to them, nutmeg them, do whatever you have to, beat them one-on-one, take them to the goal, and score the first goal and put them down right away." I did that. That All-American scored 4 goals in the first half. The game was over, 8-0. So it's a motivational thing, not just you have to put yourself in that position,
Oh, absolutely. And by that notion, it sounded like what you said worked.
Oh, it did. Now I've had those games where I did not do that, didn't challenge my All-Americans, and they would just play laissez-faire, and they'd play the game. We win a game 1-0 or lose a game 2-1 or something like that. And you say, what went wrong? Well, you didn't use your strength. So you always cater to your strengths to make things happen. And in the weakness, when you have weaker players, that against All-American teams on the other side, you just kind of match up properly to make things happen. When I say weaker players, not as strong as the other players, the All-Americans on the other squad. You had to create some kind of magic to stop them.
Right. Well, Coach, it's been a pleasure speaking with you, and we hope to see you out there at homecoming in October.
Oh, that'd be fun. I only have one little story before I go.
All right.
That's all right.
Sure.
The first team in 1980, I recruited all those players, those freshman players. And they were team captains from their squad and all that. And, we let the players choose the captains. So after 3 weeks of working out, tired, hot like it was today in August, I put every player in the circle or we're stretching. And then I went to the guy who I thought might be the captain. I bypassed him, went to the next man. I'd asked that player, "Who do you want to be captain?" The guy would respond. I went to the next man. That fellow responded. I went all the way around the room, all the way around the circle, 18 players. I got to the 19th player, who I thought would be captain. I said, "Who do you want to be captain?" He said, I do, Coach. His name was Randy Strouser, 3-time captain. They all knew he was good. They all knew he was a leader. And he knew he was a leader. So we were lucky to have him back in 1980 through 84.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great, great story of leadership and showing the initiative. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for sharing and listening to some of my old days.
Well, Tim, I appreciate you taking the time. It's been a pleasure.
All right, you take care.
All right, you as well. Have a good one.